Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is open up Blender. I have Blender in my taskbar, but you might have Blender somewhere else, so just be aware of that. If you didn't already go through the previous class or the previous videos where I show this, Blender's basically, and it looks different. It's not like in your taskbar automatically. It's going to show me this serial thing. Why are you showing me that? You don't need to show me that. Okay, so it's opening it multiple times. No. Okay, I'm gonna reopen Blender. Let's just reopen another one. So I'm not gonna save that. Don't save. Okay, so when you open Blender, you want to make sure for what we're doing to open it new and open it in sculpting specifically. And you shouldn't see a grid and all that kind of stuff. Now, all of these tools were in that video that, these tools were gone over in that video. I knew it was really fast. With the basic things that you want to use to sculpt are in here. This is essentially like a piece of clay, and you have your brush sizes and everything here. And this is set on, that's your radius for your brush size. And, over here, actually, I need to move myself. You can see the symmetry and the dynamic topology toggle here. Whoa, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to hit the Dinopo. But so what we're gonna do is because we are doing a different thing, we're gonna go and just go to object mode, right click, delete this object, and then we're gonna go to import. And we want to be very, very file import. We want to be very specific that we're importing a STL file. That should be the type of file that we scanned and that we exported our scans to in whatever program we ended up using for our photogrammetry. So we're going to go ahead and import a STL. I use STL Maker, which I like a lot. It was 10 bucks. There's some free options and some $1 and $5 options that I did put in place. So that's in the previous video. So I'm going to import my STL. Again, this is like a self-portrait, so I went ahead and just scanned myself, and it may take a minute for it to load. I had some kind of glitchy problems on my machine, so I can only be concerned about your machine. If your machine is a lesser version of my Surface Pro. So over here, we should be a little bit familiar by now with some of these tools. We'll go to the scale tool, and remember we're going to click with the left click and pull this whole object out, and that's going to enlarge our object. Now, I really do want to move this, and I'm going to move it the hard way by just clicking that tool, just because I know that some of these commands may be different on different machines. We're just going to do it the long way. Oops. So we're still in object mode. And then I'm going to go here and do my rotate tool and rotate this a little bit here, a little bit over here, move this a little bit here, boom. And then we're going to go here. Again, I'm doing this the long way to just be as slow as possible. I feel like it's helpful. Remember that middle rolly wheel that's on your mouse? You should have rolls in and has that third button has a way for you to zoom in and zoom out of this. It's not going to change the scale. This is where we change the scale. So that's kind of important. And we'll get into scaling more specifically when we get into like when we're trying to print objects and things like that. For this, we're just making a virtual model. So you can see when I get in close here, when I go to, I'm going to go to Sculpt Mode, but you can see these little kind of triangular shapes that it created when doing my mesh. And we're going to look at I'm going to go to Edit Mode, see if this works this time. Oh, it did it again. Okay. So at least it's letting me zoom in so you can kind of see what's up. But it should let you select it. When it's orange, you know that this whole thing is selected. So for example, I can do this, and it's just going to select those particular vectors there. I can go to select and select all, and then everything's orange. And that basically is all of those little vectors that the whole thing is showing me. This is a very out view of what our piece looks like in the vector world. So this mesh is kind of like a fabric in a way. So we're not gonna and you can see that there's the view, the select. So right now we're gonna switch. I just wanted to show you that, and we're gonna switch to Sculpt Mode. In Sculpt Mode, I'm gonna advise that we go over here and change. Up here we have these different lighting effects. We're gonna go and select a different matte cap, like a different color. And what that's gonna do is help me be able to see the object and see myself better. You can even get in it. There's all kind of colors and things you can get into. I can even get into like a kind of a brown, even though I'm not that brown. I'm gonna use the red. So we're gonna do that. Now you can see here that my lip isn't like this. This is what happened when my scanned my mustache. It ended up exaggerating, like kind of deducing it for that. And that's basically what happened there. For some odd reason, I think while I'm recording this, it's slowing some of the processes down on the computer. And I tried to close out of every other program. So I'm a little concerned that we might have an issue there. So what I'm going to do is go back to object mode, and I'm going to go back to scale. And I'm going to see if we can scale the object up just a little bit. All I'm doing now is hitting control and hitting the minus so I can see if I can scale this up a little bit. So maybe it'll give me a little bit more information. See. It's letting me do it with the holding control down and hitting the plus sign, but it's not letting me do it very easily with the mouse for some reason. And I have absolutely no idea, and it only does it because I'm recording. So I don't know why it's happening. Anyway, I wanted to show you up close how we're going to use Sculpt Mode, and I'm gonna end the video soon because it's just the longer the video, kind of the more you need kind of a break. But you can see here how like this little part of my eye, there's nothing wrong with my eye. The radius on my brush is a little big, and that's essentially my sculpting tool. Oops. I'm gonna just set it at like 50 for right now, and then I'm gonna go, and you can left click and drag, and it's gonna do it for you. You really want to make sure you're close to the object again. So I'm gonna subtract just by using this drawing tool some of this that's happening here, and I'm just clicking left and just trying to correct a little bit of what's happening with my eye on that part. So you can see how those vectors are getting, you can manipulate them. This mesh starts to break down here, but you can see how smooth it is on this side. There is an auto smoothing function when you start to build. Like I can basically inflate pieces of this mesh. Go ahead and undo that. Actually, I want to redo that. But you can kind of see where I'm getting at is that, you're going to take this and end up adding, there's some missing mesh here. These scans are not always going to be perfect. Sometimes you'll find one program works a little bit better than another one. I'm going to go back to object mode because I want to get rid of that thing. Okay, and I'm going to right click, delete you. So, but you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So this is like a start for it. I didn't do a 360 view, like imaging view, but you can see some areas here where I would want to come in, zoom. Oh, now it's letting me use my mouse on the video. I don't know, maybe that's it. Maybe I have to go back to object mode, but that shouldn't be the case. So yeah, that's the basic idea right now, is that we're scanning, we're putting something in, and then we're kind of playing with that once it gets in there. So we're not all starting from scratch with the STL file. But you can do that if you want to. You can go ahead and sculpt something completely from scratch using, and that sphere that you start off with your file is a good way to start. Go back to Sculpt Mode, see if it'll let me enlarge. Yay, it's letting me work. Okay, so you can see that I can go in here and change certain things. But you can kind of get the idea here. I didn't go in here, and what's nice is that this is up here now. I know that the video that you watched had that will automatically pull up this. Let me see if I can bring it. there. And I always want to change this, especially when I'm getting into like areas like here, like just the little detailed areas here. Oh, I kind of distorted it. But you definitely want to change your detail size in your dynamic. You have to select that every time. But you could see what I'm talking about. I basically just left clicked and just drag either direction, left or right, and it'll change the size for that. But yeah, that's the beginning of it.